Hello there, Bic Benedict here. We're playing Uncharted 3 Remastered on brutal difficulty. This is my guide and walkthrough. We're currently on chapter 11 of 22. It is entitled As Above, So Below. At first this chapter is pretty dull. You've got some narrative to wait through over here. So the first thing you want to do is, well, unfortunately, I'm just going to go to this wall that I know that I need to go to eventually. They're going to give you the prompt to take this document out of the journal, and you're not supposed to try to use it at this point, even though it says L2. But what it is, unfortunately, is just kind of a waiting game for everybody to wool gather amongst themselves and try to figure out what to do, butt their heads against each other, and, you know, engage in that type of idle dreaming that only these three can do amongst themselves. And then, after Drake has written in the journal, we can actually go around the room using the clue. The clue is the moon. So you want to find the moon shape on the ground, and then you can use the L2 button to bring up the map and put it in front of those columns, and then that will cue the characters to go to their respective places on the map, and then that will then allow us to stick our hand in the contraption over here, and then we will proceed. So as I've mentioned earlier in the guide, the standing around and waiting for narrative, it's a first for this series, and it's quite annoying, honestly. Butting heads and wool gathering and daydreaming and try to figure things out amongst yourselves, and with a metaphorical question over one's head and thinking, I'm not sure what to do, and then Nathan Drake will eventually say, now I remember, or something like that. But anyway, the main door is going to close, and now the two doors on either side will open, and this is your choice. You can go to the puzzle here, or you can go to the puzzle afterwards. I'm going to choose to go to this puzzle first, as I always do, and we're going to get a clue about how to solve this puzzle. But this chapter has one of my favorite fights in it. It's a little different than the normal fights because your vision is obscured. But anyway, you're going to be able to see which of the patterns over here are relevant to solving the puzzle. You can see that there are circular shapes with 4 squares in them, and then one has a cross. So those are the two pertinent pieces. You are going to have to come up here because one of the pieces is up here and needs to be pushed down. Now, let's see, I believe the first piece that we need to do, it's going to be one of the larger circles, and it needs to be the one with the 4 circles in it. So we're going to go in a alternating pattern here. We're going to go circles, cross, etc. So now we need to find a small one with the crosses, and as you can guess, the next one needs to be just like the first one, a large wheel with the cross on it, the circles on it. And then the next one, even though we haven't done a large one with a cross, we will need to go find just that one that I mentioned, which happens to be the one that we just knocked over here. So we will bear our burden over here to the wheels, set it down, and then, as you can guess, the next one needs to be a small circle with the 4 circles in it, which happens to be right here. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. Sorry for those color splashes on the screen, guys. I think it's a defect with the game, not with my software. But anyway, once everything, see that purple splash right there? It's the game trying too hard. I've finally decided about that. But there you go. We've solved the puzzle. Now we can proceed. Don't reset the checkpoint at any time until you've solved both puzzles, because it's going to set you back all the way before you've even solved the first puzzle. So just be careful about that. it is nice that they tell you how long it's been since you got a checkpoint. This is a crazy looking room over here. There's actually, I mentioned last time, there's a treasure amongst some bats that are roosting on the ceiling over here, and you have to fire a bullet at the bats and get the treasure. Okay, so we've lighted the scepter in the middle of the room, and now we need to place it in one of the pegs on the ground, but only after we have aligned a body part. And I have done some sort of quick scoping on this so that we don't have to waste too much time. But if you're struggling on that, just line it up so that the warrior is killing the other person there. Line it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then once you've established that you've done it correctly, then you are going to have solved the puzzle. Once you leave the room, then they give you a checkpoint. So little edits like that kind of bother me, because if you rewind it, the characters are in different positions. It's just because I got disoriented as I left the room. I made a wrong turn and I just didn't want it in the guide. So how do you assuage that sort of a problem? Well, running through a chapter like on a practice run really helps, but there's no way to do that. Make sure you grab a torch before you go into this room over here. And now we're gonna have to be dealing with some bugs. So it has a little tutorial over there about sweeping the torch. Is this very difficult because it's on brutal? No, I wouldn't say so. It's quite fair. And it's what I would say very similar to crushing. So at some point we're going to try to open a door, fending off the bugs, and we're going to get a sawed-off shotgun. I just absolutely love this fight because it's just so chaotic and fun. It's one of those fights where I think a lot of people wouldn't like it because of the tear gas that the enemies drop into the room to obscure your vision, but nothing beats seeing a brute come out of materialize out of tear gas. It's absolutely priceless. And this sawed-off shotgun, you've got such, now even though your vision is obscured and you have a disadvantage, the sawed-off shotgun gives you an incredible advantage because you can actually one-shot these brutes if you shoot them in the head. So don't worry about ammunition conservation over here. See, we almost are dead right here. Sully's gonna drop some ammo for you. And also about the throwback mechanic of the grenades, what I don't like is that once you've thrown the grenade back, it explodes far too early to be effective. And it doesn't matter at what point you complete the mini game. I wish instead of because it's just very frustrating. It explodes when it's like in midair, not when it's about to land on the ground and kill enemies. So very frustrating. Anyway, so what I do is I stand back here and look how much ammunition you get. You get over 30 rounds of ammunition. So what I'm going to try to do is stand back here, kill a couple of these lesser enemies here, and pick up their weapon. Now there's going to be at least 2 heavies, and since we kill these guys in close proximity, we can pick up a sub-weapon. In short order, though, you're going to be beset upon by a brute. Here he comes, winding his goddamn horn. He did get in a punch, but look at that, like 1 or 2 shots. I think it was just 1 shot. The second shot went wild, but try not to engage in a fist fight with him because it's protracted, as you well know, and enemies are, you know, shooting at you from vantage points that you can't see. So, yeah, see, corner transition, guys. Utilize those basic mechanics. Utilize them, and utilize them well. You just saw me utilize it. Now, you know how my leitmotif is to charge a last enemy? Whoa, there's 3 heavies in this room. Damn. 3 heavies on a brute. See how it explodes, like, at the pinnacle of its arc? Like, that doesn't serve you at all. That's the last guy. And you know my leitmotif of charging a last fuck? Well, I'm not only going to charge a last fuck, I'm going to charge a last fuck when I can barely see that aforementioned last fuck. So I'm going to come over here, and as you guess, winding my goddamned horn, and we're going to melee this guy, and then do our jump for joy. 1, 2, come on game, let me jump a little faster. They fucked up my jump for joy. They truly did. If you're wondering how to do that, you press up on the D-pad. Sully's going to give us a lift. Don't even bother collecting any ammunition because you're going to have to toss everything down the shaft once you get on top. We're going to do some platforming up here. This game is just so fun, guys. I sit here just, you know, frustrated sometimes that I'm getting killed so fast, but I'm having the time of my life. I'm having so much fun. You know, all I want is to have fun, and modern games just don't allow me to have fun because, let's face it, modern games aren't games. They try to make games, but they fail. You know, they succeeded for a long time, but they no longer can do it. It's kind of sad, but it's very much true. Anyway, so now just follow your friends over here to the stairs, and we're going to be doing the final part of the mission. If you recall, I seem to have forgotten the antagonist's name, but I do remember now that it was Marlowe. So we are going to be fighting Marlowe briefly at the end of this running sequence. This is really interesting. I think it's a beautiful visual feast that the eyes are treated here to. And I really like how, despite that the you know, the cutscenes are pre-rendered cutscenes, meaning that when you go to the cutscenes, I always skip them. But even if you're playing with a different skin, it's going to have Nathan Drake on it, so it doesn't tailor it to whatever skin you're using. But I really appreciate that. You know, in some of the scenes that aren't classified as cutscenes, they still have the particular skin you're using. So we've just got a little bit left to do. I mean, this chapter, was it so bad? I mean, we didn't do nearly any part of any difficult thing that might be coming up now. The next chapter is the beginning of the At Seas chapter, and those are pretty rough. In fact, I learned something about it because, and I'm going to be bringing this up in the next video. I mean, I'm going to save it. Let's just save it because it has no real bearing here. But thank you very much. It's a little long, isn't it? I mean, we've done this for quite some time now. Okay, so we're just about finished with it. If you're wondering why the visuals are like that, we got hit with some sort of a dart that altered some sort of hallucinatory drug. Anyway, now we're going to be dealing with. Did you know that Lazarevich is voiced by the same actor who plays Cutter in this game? I just learned that because I wanted to see if Charlie Cutter was voiced by the voice actor who played Dante Alighieri in Dante's Inferno, the 2010 masterpiece. And it was. So I didn't know Lazarevich was Cutter and vice versa. But anyway, now we're just chasing this fucking coward. Like, I really think that A lot of people hate the Uncharted 2 boss fight. I've really grown to, the final boss fight, I've really grown to love it. And you know why people hate it? They just hate it because it's hard. It's not unfair, really. I mean, the only thing that's a little unfair is his grenade throwing, but you get into this kind of group mentality that things are, when so many people express disapproval of something, you kind of fall into the mistaken thinking that, oh, well, something must be wrong with it, or it's bad, that it's inherently bad. And, there's most folks are just, they complain because it's difficult. And I've done that too. I've complained that things are difficult. Like, there was one time when I was trying to do the Vanquish Challenge 6, I started to call it unfair, and I was only saying that because I was getting upset that I couldn't do it. And I've never been able to do it. So, what can you do? It requires a lot of dedication to do it. It's not impossible, but I did, I called it quits. I said enough is enough. I want to move on. I was really itching at that time to play God of War. So, we should almost be done with this section as well. But yeah, the Lazarevich boss fight in Uncharted 2, I'm giving it a thumbs up. I'm giving it much more respect than I previously gave it. I thought that it was bullshit. I thought it was unfair. It's not. It's just hard, and people don't like hard things. That's why the percentage rate of people who have defeated brutal difficulty is 0.3%. I said 0.03%, and that was way off. I'm sorry, guys. It was a while back in one of the videos I said it was 0.03. No, it's 0.3%. So you guys can help to bring that number up if you want to try the Brutal Trilogy. It's going to devour you at first, but trust me, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get a lot better at it, and it's going to become one of those things where you look back on it and you think to yourself, well, crushing. You will say this eventually to yourself. I guarantee it. You're going to say, crushing's too easy. I need something harder. And I really wish that Brutal was something that was available for Uncharted 4. I wish they had tailored it a little bit more for Brutal. And I wish they would just tone down the stealth and make it less punishing for folks, who don't want to do the stealth. Because when I play Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, I feel bad if I don't do the stealth. I just, and I'm just an action person. I really like a lot of action in my face all the time. If I had my druthers, I would just I stay away from puzzles. I stay away from anything that requires non-action, I guess. But anyway, over here it's kind of funny because all of a sudden Nathan grabs a coat hanger. I don't know where the hell he got it all of a sudden. Did he just pull it out of his ass? Look at this, like, where'd you get the coat hanger, man? Were they hanging? I guess some clothes were being hung up on that wire over there. But here's a small fight against Cutter. You are going to get ambushed by some dude with a baseball bat. I don't think it's the Arabian dude who interrogates you at the beginning of the next video. If indeed he is Arabian, I'm not sure. If he's not, then, please don't call me a racist or anything like that. There seems to be a witch hunt going on the internet of social justice warriors trying to burn people at the stake who haven't done anything wrong. And let's admit it, there's a lot of people who have done a lot of shit wrong and they should be punished fiercely. But there's also a lot of people who are being unjustly accused of things. So, whoa, shit, bitch. Didn't expect that all of a sudden. All of a sudden, somebody just hits the pirate with a baseball bat, and he's going to be restrained in the next part. But we're going to be at home because we're going to be at sea, and the pirate's world is at sea. Remember that. Take it with you, and just bear that in mind as we go into the next chapter. For Bic Benedict Productions, this is Chapter 11. You and I are going to meet again in Chapter 12 and beyond. Take care.